Welcome to the Prompt Engineering Podcast, where we teach you the art of writing effective prompts for AI systems like ChatGPT. Each week, we explore prompting techniques, interviews with experts and newbies. Here's your host, Greg Schwartz.
Who was the person who submitted the debater? The debater was Michael. Is Michael here? Michael, try raising your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to put any topic in that. I don't know.
That's totally fine. I've actually run across someone, they may have been a high school or a college student, but who is using ChatGPT for debate practice. So here's my side, give me the other side, tell me the problems, so then I can come up with how to defend against them. So I think this is a great prompt. What topic do you want to have ChatGPT do some debate prep for? Could be anything.
If the topic would be, does prompt engineering make sense for large language models?
Okay, cool.
That
I also
would be
saw
topic.
someone had pineapple pizza, yes or no, in the chat. So I appreciate the absurdity everyone is putting down. Does prompt engineering make sense? Can't spell. Make sense for large language models. And I got some feedback that there are some blind listeners in the audience. So I just want to read off the prompt really quick. Your task is to act as a debater 1 and debater 2. You will be given a topic. Debater 1 will have to persuade debater 2 and vice versa. You have to present valid arguments and reflect on them. Notice the use of reflection. Your goal is to achieve a bias-free understanding of the topic and an agreement. Cool. Okay, so it started, it gave a somewhat meandering responses, particularly talking about prompt engineering mitigates ethical concerns, and that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Then debater 2 comes back with, nope, that doesn't make any sense either. Prompt engineering can lead to overfitting. Also, no, that's not something that happens in this stage. Is there anything useful out of this? Okay, this point right here, prompt engineering is not intended to replace more advanced AI tech. It's to complement it. How's this? Oh, by using a combination of prompt engineering and other techniques, we can develop more powerful and robust AI systems. That's a good point. It's pretty much the only good point, but hey. So one thing I would say is I would probably, actually, I don't need to rerun this in a separate one. Please present a brand new set of arguments focusing on, what's the right way to say this? Avoiding discussions of overfitting and what was the other one that it was just BSing us on? MIDI and that and prompt engineering. Reducing complexity is okay. So you know what, I'll just say avoid discussions over fitting and focusing on, how do I say this? Best uses of a prompt engineer's skills. See if that comes up with anything useful. Jason is asking, you're in 3.5? Yes, I am in 3.5 because if I use 4, this will be a very short mastermind because we'll only be able to do, I think it's 20 now or maybe 25 cycles, prompts. So yeah, I'm using 3.5. I also using 3.5 because that's what most people have access to in the API. Obviously, I and other people have access to 4.0 just in the chat, but not in the API. That's much rarer. Okay, wait, where did oh, there it is. Okay, so better, a little better. Okay, what does debater 2 say why it's bad? Debater's 2 point is just that it's not better than building a better system. Okay, I feel like that's getting to your point, Michael, of how do we find the good and find the bad in a debate prep tool? Let's see. Oh yeah, the travel guide one. Okay, this is a long one. So I am not going to read all of this, but this is Sean. Let's see if I can find you in the chat and unmute you. Okay, this is Sean. You should be unmuted.
Hey, Greg, how you doing?
Good. Nice to hear from you again. All right. So we have a ton of stuff. This is, having never visited Turkey, I have no idea if any of this is accurate, but it at least looks good.
Yeah. So this is actually based on something I was actually trying to do because I'm actually going to be doing this trip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I thought when I had put it in, it did a pretty good job. But the one thing I was hoping to get more from it was like specific things. So, for example, if you look at day two, it says do a boat tour. Is there a company they can recommend, or a specific kind of organization to go through, or for example, hiking in the nearby mountains? That's not as descriptive as I would hope, especially if somebody going to a foreign country. Like I need like it spelled out as simply as possible. So I'm not sure what
Yeah.
else I could do to maybe to refine this.
Yeah. Okay. So let me pause for 1 second. Amanda said, could you please throw the prompt into the chat? And I will do that. It is in there. Okay. So it sounds like what you're looking for, partly GPT cannot provide, which is tell me exact company names, give me their website, give me their phone number, whatever. But if it could at least tell us some details of where to go hiking, what to do hiking, that kind of thing.
Sorry, Ben, one quick question. Why wouldn't it be able to tell me specific like companies? If I were to go on like Yelp or like some of these review sites or whatever, like you can pull it up through Google. So why wouldn't ChatGPT be able to do that?
Because ChatGPT isn't connected to Google. It mostly, as far as I know, did not do indexing on deep links. So like Yelp, it would not have indexed. Wikipedia, it would have indexed. If we were using Bard, which I'm by no means promoting, but just as an example, if we were using Bard, it would be able to do that. Sorry. And same thing for Microsoft Bing. Bing, in theory, should be able to do the same thing. And that's actually something I've been wanting to experiment with. Probably won't today. Let me start the 10-minute timer before I get distracted. Okay. So let's work in some requests for detail here. Your experienced travel guide specializing in Turkey. Need you to plan a detailed itinerary. First 5 days are here. Second. Okay. Is there, yeah, this is what I'm looking for. You need to plan every aspect of my trip, including travel from hotel to destinations and back again. You will also need to include restaurants recommended to eat. And for activities, we are interested in these things. Okay, so then that's perfect right there. For all activities, please provide, how many was it providing? It's providing, looks like 1 activity per day, 2 sometimes. Okay, so for all activities, please provide at least 3 concrete details. And I don't know if this language is going to work. That's why I'm running it in another screen about where to go for the activity and how to do it, what's the right way to say this? Where to go for it. And let's just say what to bring. That'll be a little bit easier.
Or how to prepare for it, maybe? Or...
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. All right, so let's just run this and see how it does. Okay.
Yeah, so it's giving more details, like providing names of places.
Yeah. So I don't know how to pronounce this, but KAS diving, book a trip with them, go to a specific beach for swimming. It's not including anything like you're going to need sunscreen and a towel and I don't know what else, but for these things, but, oh, okay. Wear comfortable shoes and clothes for the hike. That's getting there. All right. So by the way, the reason I have this open in 2 different windows is twofold. Number one, I want you to be able to see the sort of before and after, and I'm just going to keep bouncing back and forth. But number 2, if I ask it, okay, now tell me blank, that is a good way to get the information, but it's a bad way to make a prompt. Because then you have to try and figure out how do I mush these 2 prompts of do this stuff, now tell me more together. That said, prompt chaining is a thing that I'm doing a bunch of exploration with. And frankly, it's come up a bunch on Reddit posts. I think it was Lee that I interviewed who was using prompt chaining to do, is this a question that my AI can answer? If yes, answer it. But if no, don't try and answer it because then the AI just starts going crazy. And instead just say, I'm sorry, Dave, that's not a question I can answer. Sorry. So that's a helpful error checking thing. I just saw in the chat, closing out the debate thing, one keyword that may help us to specify that the debaters need to take opposite and opposing viewpoints. Thank you, Jason. I think it was doing that, but I think it might have helped to call that out. Good point. And then Eric said by putting in location you're staying and the activity, you can then ask for how much is the transport and some of that stuff. That is a good point. I want to focus a little more. Actually, no. So Sean, this is your prompt. What would you like to focus more on? Would you like more? Tell me the details of you need to bring, I don't know, sunscreen, or are you feeling more like you want some more breadth? Give me more ideas per day.
I think probably more ideas per day. I'm not too worried about what to bring. The more ideas would be helpful.
One thing I want to show, I'm not going to use it because it doesn't do what I am wanting for you all to be able to see the sort of changes. But if you click this edit button, you can make changes, and let's just arbitrarily say no day should go past now 7 p.m. And then it'll give this little threading interface right here. So I can use this to go back to the previous version of the prompt. The problem is that for you all in the screen share, you then can't see it at the same time. Like you can only see, here's this version where it's 7 p.m. Let me scroll up. Now it's 5 p.m. And I want you to be able to see the progression over time.
And so does that save as one thing in the left window pane? It's okay.
Yeah. It's I'm keeping it out of the view, but it's still just the first Turkey itinerary. This other one is this window. This window right here.
Gotcha.
All right. So we're going to come back over here. Going to paste the exact same prompt. Make sure that I actually got it correct. All right. And you said more ideas for activities. Okay. So for every day, list at least 5. Let's go with 4 because it'll probably break it up evenly. Activities, and then provide the concrete details about them and blah, 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 blah. All right. Ooh, it's not listening. Oh, actually, no, I take it back. It is listening. Okay. So I'm going to ignore the check out of the hotels, but it's giving me scenic hike, stunning views of the Mediterranean. That's not really an activity, but okay. Stop for lunch. In the afternoon, explore the ancient ruins of the Lycian city of Phelos. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. And then recommended restaurant for dinner. That's not quite enough, but we're getting there. So I think let's open another tab over here so we can just keep bouncing back and forth. And that's not the updated version. I need the updated version. Updated version is here. And 3 concrete details about it. These details for each activity should be at least 2 sentences. So length guidelines are a thing that can help. Sometimes it backfires. Exactly the way I was worried it would. Yeah. So what it's doing is it's taking the at least 2 sentences to be the day instead of each activity. So I'm not even going to keep this visible. Let's just try that one more time and rephrase this as, let's see, for each day, list at least 4 activities, describing them in fine detail of at least 2 sentences per activity. Then please provide at least 3 concrete details about it, blah, blah. All right, let's see if that works. Ooh, it's not liking that. Nope, it's not liking that at all. Okay, so I'm going to try a bit of a different thing here. We're going to try some shot prompting. So just as a reminder, shot prompting is explaining what you want by providing some number of examples. To be clear, 0 examples is a way of doing it. It's called 0 shot prompting. But in this case, I'm going to go for 1. And I'm going to go back to where I liked the output. So let's find one that was on the longer side here. Yeah, so let's do this one. And then we're going to say example output. And there's a bunch of ways of doing the shot prompting. Totally varies. But we're just going to do this. Day 2. That, and by the way, including these bullets, hopefully will cause it to start doing the bulleting again, because that was really nice. And then what was the other one? No, that's the one I just copied and pasted. That was good. And it doesn't actually matter as much if these things go together, although they are because they're both in the same location. Great. All right.
How would you do the
now,
zero-shot prompting?
So zero shot is what we've actually been doing. We haven't been providing an example.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if this works as intended. Better. Okay. Still not getting the sentence length. Interesting. So this is something I've noticed with ChatGPT and other things. It sometimes just gets very fixated on not responding the way that you want it to. So honestly, I'm going to make a new tab. This is silly and weird, but this I think will work. And that's the 10-minute timer. All right, I'm going to do one more minute on this because I want to see if this actually works. Rewrite this itinerary. Oh, can't spell that. All right, travel schedule with 3 sentences per bullet. Because honestly, I just don't feel like actually doing it. Ooh, wow, it refused. Oh, that's so interesting. This is a great example of when I'm going to do edit because I don't actually really for each bullet. You going to take that? Maybe not.
Oh, look, it
No.
actually provided an example of a company that I could go with. So that's really helpful.
Yeah, I don't know if it's real. That would be a great example actually of why you have to be careful with this kind of thing, because hallucinations are very, very common. But just because I'm curious, yes, they exist. I would check and make sure they still exist after the pandemic, but they at least existed at one point. Cool. All right. So since that was the timer, I'm going to move on. What I was trying to do was get ChatGPT to write longer so that I could then plug that in as my one-shot example. Because what keeps happening is I'm feeding it 2 sentences, telling it that I want it to produce more than 2 sentences. And it's basically being like, oh, I'm going to listen to your example more than your command. No. All right, let's see here. You're welcome. Got a next one. I only see one Eric, so I'm hoping this is the right Eric. I'm unmuting you. If you are not the Eric that just submitted this,
I just
CEO of a startup. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Thanks for hosting this, by the way.
You are welcome. I have a lot of fun doing these, and I will put it in the chat as requested. Hang on. There we go. All right. So here is your prompt, and tell us about what the output is that you were looking for. Oh boy, that's some weird output. But anyway, go ahead.
I just gave an example. If you like, we have 5 or actually 6 different ideas there. And basically, I'm just interested in business research.
Got it. Okay.
In general. And I just think because the amount of time you can research different ideas using Google in the past, or you would really need to aggregate all the data points. And like you said, ChatGPT has a lot of hallucinations. You can't take it 100%, but the amount of like research you can do compared to what you're able to do 4 months ago, 5 months ago is just like amazing, right? You can really get ideas, experiment with them, look at competitors in like seconds. So I just wanted to bring that up. I didn't know if anybody else is experimenting with those kind of ideas or have played around with it, but the business idea, business solutions, analyzing competitors, all that stuff, I think is super interesting. And I think it's just going to get further. This is just like the first we're seeing.
Oh yeah,
so I think it's going to change research and like business research. Sorry.
Yeah, I've already seen, I don't remember the name, and actually I'm not sure I'm allowed to say the name, but I have seen someone who was working on a plugin that pulled in SEMrush, which is a social media marketing optimization tool, mouthful, into ChatGPT as an official plugin, as a few others as well. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of interest in this. Okay, so rereading, actually,
these were actually different prompts.
Okay.
It was just like if you played it through from top to bottom just to see how ChatGPT would.
Got it.
So, yeah. Okay,
so let me just throw in one at a time. And then, okay, this is interesting. I don't know enough about this area. So would you say this is a reasonable response, or is this kind of a,
I mean, if you want to, just for like fun, we can just make up an idea, but I was just
sure
bring it. This is just something I thought of, but whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Or we can run with this, but yeah, that actually seems pretty like on point.
Okay, cool. So you want to go on to the second prompt then, the customer segments, I think it was. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and I see in the chat someone saying you don't need to read it all aloud. The reason I'm reading it aloud again is for the people who are listening because they're not able to see the screen, either because they are blind or they are driving or whatever the case may be. Sorry if it slows things down a little bit, but I want to try and make it accessible to everybody.
So basically the idea
okay.
is how can you bring automation to smaller businesses, right? Small to medium enterprises. So now we're saying business to customers or business to business. And I just think it just spits out 10 ideas for both, right? Which I think is, obviously you can think of these things on your own, but just the speed of ideas is just what blows me away.
So I think what tends to be more interesting about this kind of thing is, I don't know, I'm just going to pick out law firms arbitrarily because my dad's a lawyer. Tell me more about the possibilities for law firms and then let it run. And I'm not a lawyer, so I can't be like, 7's totally wrong. But like being able to do this iterative, narrow down, now generate a bunch of ideas, things like that tends to help a lot. And this is, at least from what my dad tells me, attorneys on the call, feel free to pipe up and say this is junk, but it at least seems reasonable. Case management is one suggestion because there's just a lot of tracking deadlines and generating status updates. Document management is basically the same thing. Billing is the same thing. Yeah, a lot of these actually make a lot of sense. What was the third chunk? Yeah, so your third one was exactly where I was just thinking. So the third one is, what kinds of products and services do my competitors offer and how do they compare to my services? Now, obviously that, in fact, actually it should say, as an AI language model, I don't have access to specific information about your competitors or your product/service. But you could put in something, I guess, Eric, is there an example you could say of what you might hypothetically offer so we could give it a little more context?
If you go back to the questions or the prompts I posted, if we go with the same like business idea, the one with the total addressable market, and maybe follow up with the question of competitors.
So what's the total addressable market for an automation company targeting SMEs in upstate New York? What services, I should say, are offered by those companies? We'll just say those is not clear enough, by those service providers. Hopefully that'll be clear enough that I'm talking about the companies, not the SMEs, the clients, basically. All right. So yeah, it still did. I don't actually have access to the internet, so I don't know. But some possible services are workflow automation, data management, customer relationship management, all that stuff. Not a business major, but this sounds right. Eric?
Yeah, it's just basically guys giving you a breakdown. But
But it's not doing the calculation, which I think is what you actually wanted.
And that's, I don't think we're going to get ChatGPT.
You definitely won't get accurate. You might get a number, but it's going to be like 37 million.
Yeah. But exactly, but plugins like you're talking about with access to softwares with that do have that data combined with like ideas and computer you can talk to is just like blowing my mind what's going to come. So that was the idea with these prompts.
Got another minute or two left on this. I could see plugging in a couple of the other things that you had asked about, but is there another direction that you would be more interested to take this, Eric?
No, that was pretty much it.
Okay. Then I'm actually curious to plug in these two things here. So please give me some ideas for revenue models and please give me the cost structure of such a company. And we'll see, we're not giving it a whole lot of clarity, but we'll see if it comes up with, okay, cool. So subscription models, pay-per-use, commission, consulting, performance fees, these all make sense. They're pretty generic. Cost structure, again, these make sense to me, but I guess Eric, sanity check as the at least more expert than I am.
I'm not that much more of an expert, but for the most part, it sounds about right. It looks good.
Cool. Yeah, it looks good. And I'm coming from the startup world. That's what I know about building a business, but I don't know about this industry. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. I'm gonna guess I know who this is. This you, Lee? Yes, it is. I thought I recognized this prompt. Let me unmute you. Okay. Yep. This is an enormous prompt. So let's just open a new one. I'm going to paste this in. And as you can see, it is enormous. I'm not going to read all of it.
Yeah.
Basically, this is a really cool idea. I interviewed Lee sometime this week for the podcast.
What I did is I took the same strategy, but this one is for any type of business content. So what it does is it creates a series of questions for the business owner or the person with a product idea, service, whatever, anyone who needs to generate content. And what it does is it creates a series of questions. They then give the answer. Then it creates a prompt for them, which they can then use to generate anything. But I just felt like it needed some tweaking because I don't know, I just think it's too long and maybe it has information that is unnecessary.
So one thought is just 11 questions is a lot. At minimum, just asking them in groups of 5 or 6 would help. But
yeah,
I wonder if the type of intelligence thing might be a little much. But I see what you're getting at. Okay, let me throw a couple of examples in. One nice thing about meta prompting like this, and sorry, let me back up. What Lee is doing here is crafting a prompt that will then generate a prompt that you can then run to generate the content. So that's called meta prompting. It's also called prompt generating prompts, but let's not go there. And basically the trick with this is you're trying to not only make sure the prompt that you get built is good, but then that the output of the prompt is good. So there's some iterative testing here. One nice thing though, is you don't have to answer all its questions, even though they are there. So I'm just going to say, I don't know, Lee, what product or idea do you want to do and what target audience? And we'll just not answer the rest.
Oh, just, God, I don't know, just say an educational game that teaches all of recorded human history.
And we'll do, obviously that's going to be school kids. We're just going to leave it at that. Is there anything else that we should throw in here? Oh yes, actually. Number 6, somebody in the chat throw out a famous person. I don't really even care who, just a famous person so that we can say, talk in the style of, I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger or yeah, I don't know. Shakespeare. That's a good one. All right. Going to be rhyming couplets of, assuming I can spell Shakespeare right, whatever. It'll recognize it even if I did mangle it. All right. Ooh, it's still giving me those questions. Generate anyway. Let's see if it does it. All right, great. So it's doing the keywords. It's not super pulling in anything Shakespeare related, although it is focusing on, nope, actually it's not. Okay. Optimize your content. Okay. So then let's add in, I can go here and replay. Sophistication, going to be elementary. School age, I don't actually know, so I'm not going to answer that. Multiple intelligence, we're going to say music. And goal is, what is the goal of the educational game? Teach specific historical events or concepts, or to encourage general knowledge about history. Let's go with general knowledge. And let's see if we run that, generate anyway. That's getting better. Okay. So it's still mostly just history, but there is music in history, making history come alive. That's
I think if
pretty
you hit
much it though.
continue here, it should give you your prompt.
There it is.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So that's really what I wanted. I was eventually just going to be like, all right, don't bother giving me the SEO, just give me the prompt, but it worked. Okay, so now let's run this. And these seem, speaking as a different kind of educator, these seem pretty good. Obviously, age appropriate language is something you need, but incorporating music and sound effects, since we said music is the way these kids learn, talking about that, interactivity is a good general thing. Visuals, that's interesting. It's repeating itself. Use visuals to enhance learning. Make it visually appealing. In fact, actually, I think there was another visual thing too.
It's weird because it's creating instructions for someone on how to put together, not the content for their website where they have a game or a product, but it's creating things that they will need to create the product.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so
it's designed
prompt window here.
Yeah.
So let me tweak this. And then I have an idea for how to do that. So instead of saying, can you help me create, just tell it create content for the game that is user-centered, blah, 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 blah. Visuals is fine. Okay. And then it should also say making it fun. Make sure that the content includes music and interactive learning. And then just to add a little spice on this, I'm going to say think step by step. I'm not sure if that's going to help here, but I'm hoping. Nope, didn't work. My hope was that telling it think step by step would get it out of the tell you the stuff to do and get it into the do the stuff. Did not work. So let's just try taking that out. I don't think it actually is going to make a difference though. Think step by step is mostly a logic or math tool. Yeah. Okay. So still not doing it. It's still giving you instructions. So one more tweak here, and then I want to go back to the prompt.
Yeah, it's okay. It's super involved if you wanted to move on to someone else's, because when I did this the first time and I went through the step by step, because I was answering each question one at a time, it was then giving me the kind of content I needed. But I just thought there's got to be an easier, simpler way to do this.
Yeah, I think part of the problem here is whether or not it's intentionally doing this. I think this is probably too, let me say this a different way. It's too much content that you're asking it to generate, because this isn't one sentence bullet point questions. At least that's not the way it's reacting. It's reacting of like, oh, you want an entire lesson. And so I think if we maybe try, oh yes, Sarah, hang on, let me paste that prompt in here. Yep, there you go. So maybe if we rerun this yet again and say, basically I want to give it, create the content of the game, 20 questions.
Well, okay, so we're confusing something here, because this would be for someone who already created the game and they just need the content for a site. The content that then promotes it. So this is supposed to be general use for anyone with website content.
Got it. Okay, so this isn't.
Yeah. So we're instructing it to, so I don't need it to, it's to build the game. But what it does is it generates 10 questions. You answer them one at a time, and then it creates, and now you run that prompt and you get all of your website content for anything. It's general use, but
so I can definitely say right here, that's part of the challenge, because create the perfect content for their project.
Yeah.
Just thinking in terms of English structure, that's the project's content, not the project's marketing content. I doubt this tweak is going to make the difference, but let's just try it really quick.
Okay.
Yeah, go. So all I'm doing is changing it to create the marketing for the project. And now it's going to ask all the same questions again, of course. So let me just go back. Where did I have those? So I don't have to retype a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, because I wanted it to be relevant to anyone who has website content. General use.
All right. So it's generating the SEO, and then can you help me create engaging and fun content to market my educational game for school kids that teaches all of recorded history? Awesome. Okay, let's go run that in another window. By the way, this is something that came up on the last Mastermind, but you don't want to run this prompt in the same discussion. Number one, because it's going to confuse your prompt generator, but number two, because it's going to have a bunch of context that it's not supposed to. The whole point is you want to run this in a brand new, environment, so that it doesn't have any of the other context, to make sure this prompt works on its own. Well, it's certainly getting closer. Now it's not doing lesson plan kind of stuff. It's doing social media content and choose a writing style, determine the best format of blog versus video versus email, and here are specific kinds of content. So I think probably to do this in a single prompt obviously is challenging, but if you were going to do that, probably the nuance would be giving it more output constraint in terms of not just for this prompt over here, but that this prompt should be asking for to generate a specific number of pieces of content. Give me 10 Facebook posts give me 20 tweets, give me 5 ideas for YouTube videos, whatever. But that might be the thing to try and get this to be a little more concrete and a little less generic. We just throw that in really quick here just to see. Generate 10 Facebook posts and 10 ideas for YouTube videos. That's the only tweak I'm making. Yeah, so Lee, I think this is really what you were looking for, right?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay, going back to the prompt generating prompt, way up at the top. And yes, that is the 10 minutes. I'm going to do another minute or two on this, and then we'll wrap up. Let me see. All right, so copy this, make a new window, run it again. And okay, generate the perfect prompt to create. In fact, actually, I think it might work if I just put it right here. So generate the perfect prompt for them to use on ChatGPT to create 10 Facebook posts and 10 YouTube videos with the perfect content for blah, blah. And then we'll just throw in the same answer as before. Please generate. And nope, doesn't really want to do it. Generate anyway. Wow. Yes, it worked. Okay, so it is outputting a table of, I don't entirely understand. Oh, this is basically the feedback prompt matrix. Interesting. This is basically the summary of the 11 questions, which we didn't really answer. So it just made up stuff, which is kind of cool and kind of weird. And then here's a long set of SEO keywords. And then there are the Facebook posts. Bring history to life with our new educational game, perfect for school kids of all ages. Teach history in a whole new way with our innovative educational software. And the YouTube videos. And yeah, okay. I think that got to where you wanted. Is that right?
You could either do it that way or just instead of social media, just replace that with generate website content. But now I see that you have to be you can't just say content.
Yeah.
You have to be specific.
I don't think even generate website content would work, because website content could be your about page, or it could be your sales page, or it could be your FAQs.
Unless you're asking it to format it first, maybe. Okay, got it.
Yeah, you'd need a little more clarity around the output. Again, output constraint. That's a specific phrase. I specifically want these pieces of content. Plus also, I would guess either 1 or 2 pages of the website content would be the limit that ChatGPT would be able to output. You see how long this is. I would expect most websites in this marketing context would be, like almost that length, or maybe 2 screens could be. So you'd really want to be like one. You could write something. In fact, actually, just for the heck of it, I'm going to try writing this. You could do something where it would be like, generate all the content and then offer me pages to generate. Okay, from perfect content, perfect website, site content for marketing their project. That should be 5 pages, landing page, FAQs, concerns, and I don't know what it's going to come up with for that. And actually, given that we're running short on time, I'm just going to say it's those 3 pages. And please output each page's content. Go. And it's going to ask the same questions as always. Please generate now. Go. Oh, yeah, there we go. It's doing it. Okay. Now it's throwing out interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's not quite doing it. It did give the prompt, and then it started in with, here are my best guesses for what the pages should be. And the prompt did not keep the context that I want you to generate pages for a website. It's close. It's website content, but it's not specific enough. So I bet if I run this over here, it is probably going to return some much more generic. Actually, this isn't bad.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not doing here's the FAQ page and the sales page and the whatever pages, but welcome to our revolutionary new educational game where learning history becomes an exciting adventure filled with puzzles, quizzes, and interactive features. And then it's going on to learn about significant historical figures. And what are you waiting for? Join us. Yeah, it's very markety copy, but it's copy.
But it works, but it's fast.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
That gives me some good ideas. Thank you. Appreciate your help on that.
You're welcome. Awesome. Okay. Let's see if this has been helpful for you. Subscribe on YouTube, like it, 5 stars. That's podcast. Anyway, like, subscribe, 5 stars, all that stuff. You know the jam. That would be super helpful. I'm going to keep doing these masterminds because I love them and I have a lot of fun. I'm going to produce a course because I've already given a talk on it in San Diego. Thank you all so much for coming. And the link is feedback, suggestions, whatever would make this better for you. I would love to hear because that's the whole reason I'm doing it. And let's see. Oh, questions in the chat. You're welcome, Amanda. Can you ask ChatGPT to generate something simple like a recipe for you as an exercise? Totally. And would the course be on Udemy? Probably. I know there's a million courses on Udemy. I don't necessarily know if that's the best way. If people are like, don't go there, go to myspiffycourse.com. I don't know. Let me know in the chat or in the feedback form. Let's see. So recipe, what do I have actually at the moment? I have sweet potatoes and frozen chicken breasts and guacamole. What is a recipe I could make and how long will it take? Actually, just to illustrate, I'm gonna run this also in ChatGPT 4 because it usually gets way better results. It's just, sorry, I don't remember who was asking, but yeah, I'm capped at 25 messages every hour. So we would have long exceeded that. Interestingly, though, it is giving me pretty much the exact same results in this case. I guess it's a pretty constrained set of ingredients. If you want to throw something in the chat of a list of things to put in, go for it. Interesting, though, it's giving me different instructions. 400 degrees here, 425 there, 20 to 25 minutes in both cases. It looks like the ingredients are the same, though. They are the same, but they're not the same, and they're in different order. That's hilarious. So this is an example of the temperature setting, which admittedly we can't change in this interface, but in other interfaces, you can actually change the temperature to make it more creative or less creative. And that's actually, if you want to know more about that, go to the podcast because we just covered that in the Quest GPT episode. But you can't play with that in here. You can play with it in a more technical interface called the Playground. Oh, and I see a chat message, specify not to be longer than X minutes. Sure. What's a recipe I could make that takes less than, I was already saying 20 minutes. So I guess let me say 15 minutes. I don't actually know if that would work with a frozen chicken, but maybe it's smart enough to try throwing it in the microwave. Right. Yeah. Sorry. This error is because it is generating in this window. I have to wait until the other window is finished. ChatGPT and OpenAI are aware of that. Really should have started with the 3.5 one because it's so much faster. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's pretty. Okay. So since I said 15 minutes, it just said you should start with 2 thawed chicken breasts. And I specified they were frozen. So that's an interesting hack, air quotes, but whatever. It's at least trying to give me something. Okay, now regenerate. And interesting. The 3.5 is giving me a very different answer. It's saying avocado and tomato salad, whereas 4 was suggesting the chicken and guacamole wrap, which actually, now that I think about it, didn't I specify they were frozen chicken breasts? Okay, good. Yeah. Thought it was saying something different here. Cool. All right. Oh, apologies. Looks like I'm a minute over, but I hope everybody got a lot out of this. It is super fun for me to do. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And hope you have an awesome rest of your week. Talk to you soon and see you on the podcast. Hear you on the podcast and see you on YouTube, whatever. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming to the Prompt Engineering Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping you be a better prompt engineer. Episodes are released every Wednesday. I also host weekly masterminds where you can collaborate with me and 50 other people live on Zoom to improve your prompts. Join us at promptengineeringmastermind.com for the schedule of the upcoming masterminds. Finally, please remember to like and subscribe. If you're listening to the audio podcast, rate us 5 stars. That helps us teach more people. And if you're listening to the podcast, you might want to join us on YouTube so you can actually see the prompts. You can do that by going to youtube.com/@promptengineeringpodcast. See you next week.